you're ready to wake up, you're going to wake up. And if you're not ready, you're going to stay pretending that you're just a little, poor little me.
Do you feel it?
Yes, we do.
A worldwide awakening is upon us. Welcome to the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show,
where we explore topics such as UFOs, aliens, banned medical cures, as well as classified secret knowledge. Come question your holographic existence. Share experiences from the other side. This is a show that will expand your mind as we decrypt the symbolic messages locked away deep within your DNA. And now, your guides for this magical journey. The hosts of the Universal Consciousness Show, Augie Nost and Diana Seraphim.
Hello, everybody. You are listening to the show for the Thinking Global Citizen. My name is Augie, and I'm one of the hosts. My co-host Diana is over in Germany, and she is sick. She is coughing and carrying on, so she is taking the day off, but she'll be back next week. And before I introduce the guest to you, and you're going to love the guest. Oh, you're going to love him. I want to tell you how you can connect with us. You can visit us on our website. It is at universal-consciousness-show.com, or we're on YouTube with the same name. And please subscribe while you're there. That'll help us a lot. And when you do push that red subscribe button, there's another one coming up, and that's that little bell next to it. And click on that bell too, and that's very important, because then you can get notifications when new shows are coming up, and you don't want to miss any of those. And for those of you that like to hear this show again, just go back to the Universal Consciousness Show on YouTube or on our website. And of course, we are on kcorradio.com website, and look under the archives for the Universal Consciousness Show, and you will find us right there. And we're also on Twitter, iTunes, TuneIn, Alexa, on Facebook, and a few other places that we put it. So you will find us. We're out there just about everywhere. Now, if you are listening to the KCOR radio website right now, then there is this wonderful little feature down at the bottom, and it is a donate button. And if you like what you hear, we would love for you to also help us out with a little donation, because that tells us that we do the right thing. And now I'm going to let you know who the guest is. And the guest is me. I'm going to be talking to you for an hour because I didn't have another guest. So I'm doing what I used to do on my my TV shows in Tucson years ago. When the guest didn't show up, then I just grab a subject and talk on it for an hour. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm finding, that talk show hosts, they really don't get enough airtime. So I am cherishing this, because now I get to talk for an hour. How about that? You're stuck with me for a whole hour, and you are going to enjoy it, because we are going to talk about the secrets of the universe. And this universe that we think we are living in, we wonder, what is it? How far does it reach? How does it work? Well, let's talk a little bit about that, because I am firmly coming to the conclusion that everything in the universe has a science to it. I don't care what they say about miracles or anything else like that. There is a science to miracles too. It's just a science that we do not understand yet. So religion jumps in the middle of it and calls it, oh, it's a miracle. We're not supposed to know. Well, maybe we should know. And I'm going to tell you some of these things. Because I know many of you out there watched the movie The Matrix. Well, whoever wrote that script for that movie, they knew something. And why in the world would I want to say that? Because, well, it appears as we live in a matrix. There is a theoretical physicist, his name is James Gates, Dr. James Gates. He discovered a form of computer code embedded in the equations of supersymmetry that describes fundamental particles of our universe, like atoms, electrons, protons, and all the way down to neutrons and bosons and all, get down in there, omegons and so on, all the way down to nothing. And we are made of those particles. So if there's computer code in the fabric of space, that shouldn't be that hard to believe, because DNA in our bodies have also computer code in it. All organic material has DNA in it. DNA has those particles also. So what is happening then? What that means is that someone or something with consciousness created this fabric of space we are existing in. See, Dr. Gates found this computer code. It's a strings of concepts that represents ones and zeros. It's a special kind of combination of computer code that was invented by a scientist named, what was it? Claude Shannon, I think, in the 1940s. And now they're finding it in the fabric of space. So, and these computer codes they're finding in the fabric of space are too symmetrical to be random. With other words, there is a computer somewhere that creates the existence that we are living in. Boy, oh boy, take that one in. So, are we real or are we a computer program? That is a really good question. And that is one of the things that I would like for you to go into meditation and ponder for a while. Because it appears as everything we are going through here is a computer program. All the way to the watch you have on your hand, to the computer you are listening to the telephone you're listening to, everything is created by particles that is represented by ones and zeros. Let's take it a step further. We look around ourselves and we see things. So there is something to this existence that we are living in. Did you notice I didn't say this life we live? We consider it life, but if it is a computer program, could it be life or would it just be existence? Ponder that one too while you are in meditation. Let's take a concept and string this concept out. Let's take ascension. There are many different forms of ascensions that both the history books and religion talk about, and science now is starting to talk about. Ascension is talked about for millennia, especially by religions. It's pretty much religions that talk for the most about it, but they say, well, we're not supposed to know because God allows for this to happen. Well, okay. What kind of science is God using? Maybe there is 3 forms of sciences. One is maybe physical science, and we really have figured that one out. We got airplanes that do about 10 times the speed of sound, the Aurora, and cars that doing 260 miles an hour, and we got a watch on your hand that winds itself. And yeah, this is physical science. And then we have mental science. Mental science that involves hypnosis, photographic memory, eidetic memory, and thought transference. That's psychic abilities. That's some form of mental science. And then we have spiritual science. Well, mankind as a whole does not have a clue. And now let's take that back to ascension. Ascension is maybe partially mental science and definitely spiritual science, because spiritual science is anything that does not fit in the other two, physical and mental science. So if you start investigating the evidence behind ascension, you're going to find that there is actual evidence for this thing happening. There are witnesses, testimonies ranging from J.C. Knight, who's channeling Ramtha is one of them. He ascended when he was drunk on red wine years ago. And there are historical written facts. And the Institute for Noetic Sciences, they have thousands of documented cases of monks transforming into light and ascending. Astronaut Edgar Mitchell, he's the head of that organization. And then there is Father Francis Tiso. He is a Catholic priest. He lives in Italy, and he went to India, to Tibet, and deep into the Himalayas, and he was talking to the monks living in clusters or communities in there, and they told him, yes, this is true ascension, that is very possible. We have something we call ascension parties, and that is when they all sit together and they chant, and they see somebody in front of them turning into light and disappearing. Or there's another form of ascension, and that is when, first of all, when you turn into light, you liberate your body into light, and whatever is left is next to nothing being left behind. Now, these people that do that, they obtain something called Siddhi consciousness. That's SIDDHI consciousness. And that is when they become aware that they are all mind. And this ascension, turning into light, that happens when you know who you are. And you know you are all mind only. Because quantum physics are showing us that we live in a mind-created universe. And then all they have to do is to change their mind. And they disappear. They take the mind, whatever the expression that the mind have created, they take with them and go to a higher vibration and disappear. Now, this is really hard to wrap our heads around, but I have on broadcastteamalpha.com, we have an interview with Father Tiso, the Italian Catholic priest there, that went to India. And he showed on his website, he showed pictures of people that have ascended. there is a scientific explanation for this, and that is one of the things that is really hard to understand. But there are record of people being in two places at once. And there is this movie clip that was back in the early 1940s. There was a Swedish explorer that went to India, and he took a movie clip of somebody turning into bright white light and disappeared right in front of their eyes. And that, I don't know where the movie clip is now, but it was shown around a lot back in the early days. And at one time, while I was still back in Europe, I saw a copy of it, and I don't have it anymore, but it is there. It does exist. And let me give you something to think about. And let me set the stage for this first. We have been told for the last 300 years or so that matter and energy cannot be created from nothing. Well, we all know that, right? Well, maybe not. Could it be? If matter and energy cannot be created from nothing, then we got a problem, because the most brilliant people on the planet, like Stephen Hawking and Green and many other theoretical physicists that is studying quantum mechanics and quantum physics all their life, they're telling us that this universe that we're living in was created from nothing if you look at the equations on the blackboard. So if this universe was created from nothing, everything in this universe was created from nothing, then what are you? You are in this universe too, created from nothing. Now this gets complicated, because could it be that we are nothing? Well, not really. But there is nothing real. See, if we can say that we are nothing, we got a problem, because we see things around us. There is things around us. You're listening to something right now, and that is something. Look down at your hands. Yeah, it is something. So then, if quantum physics and spiritual science is correct, and they are, I found, we live in a mind-created universe, because there's only one thing that can create what you see around you, and that is your mind. Okay, that one's hard to wrap our head around too, but let me give you an example. I'm a hypnotist. If I put you in a soft chair and talk to you for 10 minutes and tell you that when you wake up, you will see an elephant standing next to you in the room. If I did my job right, and I snap my finger and count to 5 and bring you back out, you will see that elephant standing next to you. You can reach out and touch the snout on that elephant, and your hand will feel the rough skin of that elephant. You can smell him, you can hear him. For you, that elephant is right there. Okay, but I can't see the elephant because there is no elephant there. What happened to your real world right now? You see and you can feel the elephant. What is the difference between that elephant and your existence when you look down at your hands right now and you can see and feel your hands? What is the difference? There really is no difference, because your mind created both your hands, your computer, and the elephant. They are both mind created, which tells us again we are living in a mind created universe. So, since there is nothing out there except what your mind creates, if we get full understanding of that, then you can change your mind and you can say, well, I'm going to take my so-called expressed physical existence with me to a higher vibration and leave. You recreate another existence for yourself outside of the physical, and you turn into light and you disappear in what we called ascension. Boy, this gets deep. You know, religions even talk about this. They talk about the rapture. Well, at least the Christians does. So, if this is a concept that has been around this long, chances are it has roots somewhere because people had seen it. And this is something that has been around a long time. In India, it is a concept that is understood and accepted. In the West, of course, we're a little slow here, so we have a hard time with this. But your perceived reality can actually ascend to a higher vibration in the hologram that you are living. And in this hologram, there are laws of physics because everything is connected. So when we create something, when our mind creates something, it takes on physical form for you because that is how it is expressed. And this physical form remains in the physical unless you remove it. That is why people die and they leave the body behind, because what they created was kind of like a car that you're driving around in for a while, and when the car breaks down and you don't need it anymore, you just leave it behind. That's the physical way of doing things. So you leave this carcass behind when you move on to a higher vibration. And that is one thing that we're going to talk about after the break. What is after what we call death? Everybody is wondering about that, except for, of course, the people that don't care much. There are atheists out there that says, okay, when I'm done, I'm done. That's it. Well, boy, oh boy, are they going to get surprised one of these days. So when we come back, let's talk about life after death and what is really happening back there. But there's a science to that too. So we're going to talk about that. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere. I'm the guest tonight, so I'll be here with you. We'll be back in a few minutes.
You're listening to the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Your weekly connection to the truth.
You get to really sort of enjoy a bizarre ride.
Share your knowledge by calling our hotline number at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Call now.
Worldwide callers find us on Skype at KCOR Radio. It's time to abandon your fear and question what you think you know.
And now, if you will, accompany me on a journey to the future.
More awakening awaits.
After this, after this, after this, after this, after this, after this.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Monday nights are about to become hauntingly good, as Reverend Sean Whittington possesses the airwaves with Vegas Supernatural. Tune in every Monday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern for Vegas Supernatural, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. There's a war raging between good and evil. The question is, which side are you fighting on? Tune in Monday nights as Reverend Sean Whittington sets the new standard for paranormal radio with some of the most influential personalities in the world today. Vegas Supernatural, hosted by Reverend Sean Whittington, every Monday night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. The one show even the devil doesn't want you to hear.
We interrupt this program to annoy you and make things generally irritating.
At the end of the day, we turn the lights down in the KCOR studio.
Oh, sweet.
And crank up the hottest club songs from around the world.
This is the future.
The Grind, mixed by Tina Marie, your Vegas vixen of the high desert.
What about the body? What kind of body? Good body. Nice body.
Every night from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific. The best 3 hours of commercial-free music.
New music first.
It's time to stand up and dance your ass off. The Grind, nightly and exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Come on, it's kind of hot.
Are you ready to go?
It's showtime!
Here we go, world. You're listening to the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
Broadcasting from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Their base is so large it has to draw most of its power from the nearby nuclear fusion plant.
The future of radio is here and now.
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
It's time, once again, to unravel the mysteries of the universe by connecting the dots to a higher consciousness. This is the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Now the world will begin hearing us.
Share your knowledge by calling 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers use Skype name KCOR Radio.
It's as simple as that.
Find us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Even better, join us on the live chat at KCORradio.com. Back to your enlightened hosts, Agi Nast and Diana Serafin.
Hello, and we are back with the Universal Consciousness Show, and I am the guest today. So I'm going to be talking to myself for the next 30 minutes or so. And before the break, we were talking about some really interesting stuff about ascension. And what I want to mention just for the next 30 seconds about that, because I didn't get quite done, is that yes, there are more than one type of ascension. We are going through one right now that happens every 26,000 years when there is a spike of energy coming out from the central sun of the galaxy, and we are moving through it. When that happens every 26,000 years, we are being bombarded with this energy. Because we are moving into that region of space. There is nothing we can do to stop it. It's going to raise our awareness, and we will, some of us, be able to leave the garbage behind and move on to a higher vibration, and I'm looking forward to it. Those of you that have a higher consciousness, and I was just talking to Tina here over the break, and the people listening to this show and other shows on this station, they are higher quality thinking people. And I stand by that because I have seen it. And those of us that want to leave the garbage behind, we can. And it's going to be a great change. It has been prepared for us. 5 years ago or so, I had a download of universal information where all this was explained to me. The universe was explained both in concept and detail, and this is one of the things I saw. The really scuzz buckets of the world, they're going to be left behind in their own existence, where they're going through another 26,000 years of garbage, and they can have it. So anyway, that is my story. That's what we have common. Let's talk a little bit about also life after what we call death. Life after death, yeah, there's been a question for a long time. And it is not that much of a puzzle. It's because science, the government, industry, and whoever is pulling your strings every day, they do not want you to know about it. But there is all kinds of evidence of a continuance of life, or life energy, or consciousness, the soul, the astral vehicle, or whatever you want to call it. There is a continuance because we have the pictures. We have the voices on tape recorders speaking with people on the so-called other side. It is there. Any astral traveler will tell you that they meet up with entities out there, outside of the physical, that is in disembodied souls or energies, thought forms, consciousnesses, that some of them don't even know they're dead. It may have happened so quick that they didn't realize that, yeah, I know I was in an accident, but what's going on here? I don't understand it anymore. Nobody talks to me. So, and speaking of astral travel, that is one of the things we're going to start teaching come next month in well, let's see, maybe I'll leave that one for a little bit, because the mastermind connection is something that I'm going to be posting on my Facebook page, and that's where we're going to be teaching meditation and astral travel and several other things coming next month. We are doing one on hypnosis right now, so this is something that you should consider looking into. And let me go there. So send us an email to themastermindconnection@gmail.com if you want to be part of a mastermind group. We're doing some phenomenal things in there, and you should check into it. Anyway, when it comes to life after death, my answer to that question is, there is no death. There is only change. In fact, if you drop the body, you are more alive than you are with the body. The body creates limitations for you that you have a hard time dealing with. And anybody that's done a lot of research on this, you will find that quantum mechanics tells us that there is more than one existence. Most theoretical physicists agree there are more than one universe. Even Stephen Hawking said, I can prove 9 different universes on the blackboard. But he also said, if I extend the equation, I might find more. Now, these universes are different levels of existence. They may be parallel to us, or they may be above us or below us in vibration. And quantum physics tells us we are living in a mind-created universe, so everything starts in the mind. So think about that. So what that really means is that according to quantum mechanics, is that we are in a universe, and we are in control of our universe. But there's a set of laws of physics that governs what happens within this holographically projected, perceived reality we think we're living in. And this is what quantum mechanics are telling us. And remember the example that I gave you when I put you in a chair and talked you into a deep hypnotic trance and told you about the elephant earlier? That elephant was real to you. Because you created a new holographic existence for yourself by your mind. And since it is mind-created existence, and what we know and believe here stays with us as we move from the physical into the higher vibration. Because the mind is not in the brain. The mind is around you and connected to everything else. So when you drop the body, your consciousness moves on and take on another form. Now there are several things that leaves the body. One of them is consciousness, which is difficult to see in the physical. Another one is the astral vehicle, your astral body. That also will leave the body. That happens sometime between maybe a couple of minutes to about as much as 10 minutes after you quit breathing, when you drop the body, when the brain goes without oxygen. From there on, there's a process of this thing we call dying, and it takes several minutes for that to happen. And at the end of that process, the astral vehicle, consciousness leaves right away. You can hang around, do things. But the astral vehicle will leave the body within 5, 7, 8, 10 minutes. And that can actually be seen on cameras, because there is movie footage of that out there. You see this gray substance leave the body. And there's also in 1907, there was a doctor that did experiments with this. He took people that was just about to die, he put their bed on scales, very sensitive scales. And he wanted to see if there was something that left the body, and yes, it was. At the time or slightly after the people died in that bed, the bed lost weight like 21 grams. And he did this 6 or 7 times, and it was the same result every time. It varied a little bit in the weight. Some of them were slightly less, some of them were slightly more. But there was a sudden drop of weight when whatever it was left the body. So there is a physical, in order to have weight, there is a physical component to the astral vehicle. And that makes sense to me, because as an astral traveler, when I'm out there, unless I think myself going in a certain direction, if I just sit there still in space, there I will, not space, but here in the atmosphere where gravity exists, I can feel a slow decrease in height. I slowly settle down. And that may have been represented in the 21 grams that doctor talked about. So what we're finding, yes, there is evidence. We have the pictures of people. There's even a picture was taken in 1863 of Abraham Lincoln standing in his bedroom. And you can see through him. And in fact, you can Google this. This picture was considered at the time it was taken by the White House, the photographer that they used at the White House. And he took a picture of the bedroom, and right there in front of the camera, Abraham Lincoln was standing, but he had been dead for 2 days at the time they took the picture. And when they developed the picture, they were totally astounded. And they declared it because there was witnesses to the process of development, and this one was considered to be real, and it is today considered to be real. That is just one small example. There are thousands of other examples of people who have made themselves known after they dropped the body. So, on a very rare occasion, someone may die here and find themselves on the other side in a dark place. That is, with other words, they don't see anything. That is usually people that don't believe there is anything out there. Atheists, they have that happen sometimes, and some don't. And I have to be very blunt about this, because if someone is dumb enough to believe that whatever happens after their death is nothing, then they will find whatever they believed very often while they were alive. Let's take an example. If somebody went to war and they killed a bunch of people, and later on they got involved in religion and they realized that since I am a murderer, I'm going to hell. If that is in their mind, chances are that when they drop the body, they will find themselves in a place represented like that. And they will stay there until they figure it out. That, oh, I don't have to be here. All I have to do is to think myself out of here and go towards the light, and I can escape this existence in that place. You know, that place downstairs next to the furnace people call hell. Yeah, these kinds of things can be mind-created as well. For those of us that have experienced higher vibratory things and know that there is a higher vibration of love that we can join with, we have nothing to worry about, because that is what will happen. What you can find also when the body is dropped, you can find yourself going through a tunnel. At the other end of the tunnel, there very often will be someone there, maybe your mom if she's left already, or a relative or someone at the other end to receive you and bring you through into that other world where it's a little bit of a re-education process, because you come there with amnesia. You don't really remember a lot there, because what you go there with is what you left here with, until the re-education process, which is fairly quick, and then you can start to understand what is on the other side. But it usually is a very pleasant, very wonderful experience. You feel the love. You feel whole. And there are some people that was in an accident here and accidentally died here, and they come through the tunnel, and somebody at the other end tells them, no, you can't come here. You're not supposed to be here yet. Go back. You have more work to do. And let's say you were in a car accident, you're all broken up. I mean, every bone in your body could be broken just about, and you don't, oh no, I had a miserable existence back there. I don't want to go back. And then you have a choice. Do you want to go back or do you not? If you go back, things will be all right, and you'll be able to finish your mission that you came to Earth for. If you decide, nope, I've had enough of that, I want to just leave, then you go back there and you start over again with a new education process for another lifetime life cycle. Because you came here for a purpose. You may have gotten killed in an accident, and you did not finish your purpose that you came for. So you may want to go back and try to do it again to accomplish what you came for. And this is something that is, it's hard to understand. There are some people that through hypnosis can go back to previous lives, and they can find, why did I come here? And that is one of the things that I recommend highly to everybody. Go back and have a look at previous lives. How successful were you? And my co-host on the other radio show, Nori Love, is a hypnotherapist. She is good at taking people back to previous life existences so you can have a look at it. And you can check with her and tell you this could be a very interesting experience for you. And you go on the other side, and what is in your mind is on the basis of what you have learned here. And if you completed what you came to Earth with, then you will go there and you will meet someone that I called the guardians of the soul. Because there is a panel of about 4 or 5, or not that many, higher spiritual entities. You discuss your life that you just left with them, and you look at, what did I complete? What did I do? What could I have done different? What more could I have learned? And then you decide, do I want to go back and learn more about these things that I did not quite figure out while I was in physical form? And that gets interesting, because your lifetime here only lasts for a split moment in that spiritual setting. And whatever happens here is not good or bad, horrible or wonderful. It is only an experience in the spiritual. So go and ponder this in meditation, because meditation is the gate to higher consciousness. And this is what was explained to me in the universal download when I had that. There is one more thing that I want to touch on. I see we only got 4.5 minutes left of the show. And that is that a lot of people want to grow old and be healthy at the same time. It can perfectly well be done. Because in 2009, 3 doctors were, they got the Nobel Prize for discovering an enzyme that reverses the aging process. I am doing it, and it's working for me. So have a look at this. I wrote a book where I covered some of these things, and the spiritual science, higher conscious thinking, and how to access the universal consciousness. In there, I tell you what I am doing to reverse this aging process, and it's very simple. And what I'm doing, I'm using an herbal method for the body to create this enzyme on its own. There is a pharmaceutical out there that they claim they can do the same thing, and that pharmaceutical is called TA-65. Though it has side effects, but it may work for some people. Other people say they don't get nothing from it. But in that book, Spiritual Science, Higher Conscious Thinking, and How to Access the Universal Consciousness, I explain what I do. Because I'm doing the same thing as a man I found that died from an accident at the age of 256. He was a martial art instructor for the Chinese army for as long as anybody could remember. And he was an herbalist and a spiritual teacher. Now, the mind is a very big part of this equation. There's also a guy that died back in the 1950s in New York from food poisoning, and he was 154. And when he was also from China, and his passport said 154. So the coroner asked the ambassador, why can he be 154? And the ambassador told him, yes, he can. Because first of all, he knew he could never die. And for the second, he only ate Chinese herbs and berries. So there is something here that people could look into. Now, the trick is not being old, but is staying healthy and vital and have fun into old age. That is what I'm doing. And I don't care if immortality I'm not interested in. When I get to a point where I'm bored with life, I'm ready to go. And I'm having the time of my life right now. I'm having fun. And that is what you should too. There is a method to this madness of staying healthy until you're 100 years old or more. Look at that in that book. And now we got 1 minute left of the show, and I will have to go. But maybe someday I will be my own guest again, and we can talk about other interesting things. So until then, take care of each other. And come back next week. We are going to speak about more healing next week. Talk to you then. Take care of each other.
This has been the Universal Consciousness Show.
The Universal Consciousness Show.
Your weekly guide to a deeper understanding of the all that we are.
Well, in a few years, it will be a matter of common sense to very many people that they're one with the universe. It'll be so simple.
Live Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. For more information on the show, hosts, or their guests, please visit universal-consciousness-show.com. That's universal-consciousness-show.com. Remember, there's a shift coming. A new earthly paradigm. A shift to universal consciousness.
Universal consciousness.
This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.
Wait, that doesn't exist.
This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.